This summer I had an uninvited guest living under the front steps of my house. Watch the left side of the screen carefully for two white dots to appear. Join me as I show you how I convinced this little stinker to move out in this.
Shocking Skunk Eviction!
Now that we've got the tongue-in-cheek YouTube sensationalism out of the way, let's look at how you can tell if you might have a critter living under your steps or deck. You'll probably find some freshly dug dirt or a shallow hole that looks something like this. Here's another look without the lame attempt at a jump scare. Why don't you want a skunk under your steps? Because you may have pets and you really don't want underside encounters. While skunks are very mild-mannered, they can scare easily, and that means PU for your dog or cat. And you really wouldn't want a guest to leave with a smelly parting gift either. Finally, skunks are generally nocturnal. On summer nights, with your window open, it can be pretty smelly. I really wanted to satisfy my curiosity about what kind of animal was living rent-free under my step, so I set up a pet camera that also has night vision. This isn't a sponsored promotion, it's just the brand of camera that I happen to have. I set up the camera at the back of the flower bed, overlooking the hole, and tried to keep it as dry as possible. It was under the eaves of the house, but rain was still in the forecast. You can see at this point, the hole is blocked. More on that later. Checking the camera the next day, here's what I saw. Okay, maybe not that shocking, but the first time I saw the skunk lunge at the camera, it did kind of surprise me. It was raining, so Pepe Le Pew took a quick break, and after realizing that Motel Stinky was closed, he let me know what he thought about the accommodations. Rude. After leaving the camera out for a few more nights to see if I could get any more footage, I decided to bring it in because the rain was starting again. Skunks being mostly nocturnal, I was a little worried that I might actually run into Mr. Smelly on his nighttime prowl. Yes, that's a tomato plant. It was an experiment. Yes, this is me thinking a little piece of bark will protect my electrical equipment outside, but it was well under the house at this point. Time to unplug and get out. How do we evict a little stinker? Well, let's start with what not to do. Don't fill the hole in until you know your guest has vacated. You want the skunk or rabbit to leave on its own accord. You don't want to bury the poor thing under your steps. They may have babies down there as well, you don't know. What you want to do is make the hole unpleasant to stay in so that the skunk finds someplace else nicer. Like your neighbor's steps. If you search the internet, you'll find a number of suggestions for evicting a critter from under your steps or porch. A word of caution, do not mix vinegar and ammonia together. You'll make a dangerous gas. I found these suggestions on separate websites, and this is a case of more is not better. Product labels warn you about this, but it's worth repeating. I ended up just using the blood meal, vinegar, and black pepper, although cayenne pepper was also suggested. Again, no product sponsors here. This is just what I had on hand. The blood meal is good because many animals, especially rabbits, don't like the smell of dead things. This works great on flowers that rabbits like to nibble, by the way, and it's also a fertilizer. Later, I found products in store that you can also use, including one for deer in case you have plants that they also like to nibble. If there is a next time, I think I might just try the repellent spray. So here's the setup. I put a rag in a plastic Ziploc bag and soaked it in vinegar along with some pepper. Then I poked a few holes in the bag to allow the smell out. I sprinkled the blood meal and the pepper all around the hole and along the front of the flower bed where the skunk will come snuffling. He sticks his nose right on the vinegar baggie and roots around in all the pepper I sprinkled on the ground. I think he stops here to get the pepper out of his nose, but it's hard to tell. Again, the idea is to make it unpleasant for him here. Leave the hole for 2 or 3 days. Then fill the hole lightly with leaves and keep an eye on it for a couple more days. If nothing has dug its way through the leaves, you very likely have nobody living under your steps. Now you can get some garden pavers from your garden center and seal up that hole. What you see here is temporary. You should dig down about a foot and seal up the hole along the steps. I think it's fantastic that we share our urban environments with so much wildlife. We can almost always find ways to get along with our furry and feathered friends. That includes you, Mr. Fluffy Tail, destroyer of flower pots. Not long after I shot this video, my neighbor told me that he had a fresh hole under his front steps. Well, at least he knows how to evict his new guest now. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like or subscribe. See you next time.